It's a joke. I'm just sat here twiddling my thumbs. The 50, poor old Chris. He's probably crying right now. That's why he's not joined.
Lenny, I haven't actually introduced either of you yet, so can you not? Can you not?
Right. Well,
Can you not
I've
reveal
got.
who's going to be on the podcast before they actually get here? I
I
had
didn't
like
use.
the reason why it's actually been longer is because I was busy planning this intro. But clearly,
To be
you
fair,
don't care about that. You've already
people
announced
don't
who's
know who
coming on.
Chris is. They all think he's called Big Dog.
That is true. Well, okay. Well, okay. Well, now you've really. All right. You know what? I may as well just invite him to the call now.
Yeah, but I still think you could have prepared in advance. I watched the episode at about 2 o'clock today.
Yeah, I watched the episode. Sorry, was it not enough that I made the episode?
Yeah, do you really have to write notes? For
Why
me,
don't you introduce us this week?
it's all up here. Well, no, no, I'm not doing it. I've got nothing. Obviously, you're better at that than me, but that's not the point.
All right. Well, I've just thought of one for you. So,
All
um,
right, get the big dog in here, so at least I can talk to him.
yeah,
It's,
yeah, I have. But no, I've sent him the link. But I also thought, wouldn't it be good if I can just introduce you guys from the start this week, and then we can just get straight into it?
yeah, 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 probably.
Like, it doesn't happen often that you get all the back alley boys on a podcast together. In fact, this may be the first time it's ever happened, and based on your sass so far, maybe the last time.
But I don't plan to do too many podcasts after this season's over, to be honest.
Hey, maybe if you make a similar run in like season 8, you can come on that one as well.
When I see I've been replaced as co-host by like Isaac Dugas next season, I'm gonna be fuming.
I'll tell you what, I'm really regretting this t-shirt based on how much I'm just blending into the wall behind me.
It's quite similar.
What do you reckon? Should I change it? I feel like we've got a minute or two before Big Dog gets on.
Yeah, I'd say there's no. Well, better be thinking at the same time.
Well, he's seen my message. Is that a light? Is there a light just behind you, or is it a
Yeah,
reflection? All right.
no, it's a light. It's a light that's. Let me turn it off. It's shaped as a duck, but it's a very good little light. I think Erin got it for me for my birthday a couple of years ago.
Wait, that light came out of that duck.
Yeah, you just
Which one
squeeze
again?
it.
Oh my God!
It's really cool, actually.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, shout out Erin Hollington. I know she's watching.
Aaron
What a
Hollington.
gift! What a
Big
gift!
Dog said his Zoom's updating, so that's. Do you know what? That's perfect, and that also means that he
He
can't give
can't
me any
manage.
shit for being like, yeah, all right, I'll admit to the audience while we're waiting for Big Dog. Um, this
You
wasn't any
loved
kind
it.
of power move from me. I was just late. I didn't. It's not that I wanted to leave. Lenny sat there in the glow of his duck for ten
Well,
minutes.
I've come into this podcast very angry.
What did you think
Or
about everyone's confessionals about why you got voted off then? Because we saw those at the start of this episode.
I like big dogs. What did Divya say? Oh yeah, that I had like loads of sway, but if that was true, then I would still be in the game at the end of the day.
Divya, like, absolutely hilarious, saying as she was voting, you saying, "Get him out early." It's like, no, no, this isn't early. This is almost as late as it could possibly be.
But yeah, I don't think I had any sway because I got voted out.
I mean, you had sway on 25% of the players because Holly voted with you.
That's not enough.
Welcome to episode 19 of the If You Know, You Know podcast, where we're looking back over Survivor Southampton season 2, episode 19, the final four, of course. And we welcome this week a man who likes to look at pictures of people in trees and holds the record for most tribal councils attended in one season. It's Mike Price. Well done. Welcome me. Thanks everyone. Joining me this week is a man who, despite being voted out in last week's episode, still messaged me to complain about his lack of screen time. It's Lenny Greenfield.
Just not true, by the way.
And joining us this week is a player, Lenny, who some have called the mastermind of the season, but I think here we can say that he was arguably responsible for the demise of Archie, Faris, maybe not Slaw, Lucy, Will, Noel, Ben, Oscar, Will, Lucy, Strath, and Lenny. The Back Alley boys are finally reunited. We've got Big Dog with us.
Hello. I don't actually hate everyone in Southampton. I just wanted to win the games.
Big Dog, how are you doing? It has been way too long. I can't believe how long we've left it to get the three of us back together. How has your Christmas and New Year been?
Oh, Christmas, New Year, been pretty good. I actually recently had my train driver OPC assessment today.
Oh wow,
Um,
okay.
it's one of the most stressful things I've ever done. You're there for the whole day, and it's split into three stages. And once you fail a stage, you have to go home.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and and you don't find out if you pass the third stage until a week or two later. Luckily, I passed the first two stages, got into the third stage, and now I'm just waiting to hear back
Oh
whether I
God.
passed or not. But yeah, I mean, the day started with seven people there, and by the end, there was just two.
That
Wow,
is
very much
brutal.
like Survivor then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's why I passed is just the survivor experience just got me through the test.
There wasn't a tribal council, was there, before they sent everyone home?
No, no.
You got to imagine at Final Four though, you're looking around just like, oh God, not again.
No, it generally was the most stressful thing I've ever done. I think.
So what were the stages? What different things did you have to do? Was it like written exams or like
Yeah,
actual?
stage one is pen and paper exam. Stage two is a computer test, and then stage three is the interview. Stage one wasn't that hard, I don't think. Like it was reasonably difficult, but not too hard. Stage two, you had to do this like a joystick thing, and you have to get this ball around a maze, and I couldn't do it. And if the ball goes outside the lines, it makes a buzzer go off, and I generally it just went off like many times, constantly going off, and I really thought I failed, and I didn't. So,
But I mean, in that instance, then so you don't win the challenge, so you just get everyone else together and just vote off someone else.
yeah, that's actually what happened. I spoke around with all the people there, and they agreed to throw someone else off.
Yeah. How come you've ended up choosing this train driver direction then? Because obviously there are a lot of people saying that you look like a train driver, like whenever you wore a specific
Um,
tie. Is that how it started?
it generally is how it started. Um, I mean, if that hadn't happened, I don't know if I'd be here right now. But um, it's just like I think it was not the day that it happened. It was the pubs later. We're just talking about it. People just it was Strathclyde's brother or something is a train driver and just saying how much money they make. I was like, yeah, sounds sounds better.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's what you brought up in the interview.
No, I didn't. I should have done. I should have gone through the entire every social of Southampton skunks and be like,
Did you go to the interview in your train driving outfit?
no, of course I didn't.
Might have won them over if they saw that you already looked the part.
No, I don't think that would have gone down too well.
So what happens then at the end of this? So like if you find out, obviously they could
Um,
say, oh, it turns out you failed stage three, but what happens if they're like, oh, you passed stage three?
then you have to get training with a train operating company. You get training, and then you pass that, and then you get a job. And the training's about a year long. I actually don't know what happens in the training. Um,
Do you know which like line you'd be working or training with?
it depends where I get the job, which company I
Oh,
get the
okay.
job with.
Well, sounds very exciting. Yeah, well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. But you only get two attempts at the test. So if you fail it, you only get one of the attempt. So it's quite stressful.
But I mean,
I
surely if you
know.
pass those stages once, then you should be able to do that. So then it would just be about doing the interview again.
Oh yeah, if you fail with just the interview, you only have to retake the interview. They don't make you do the rest of it.
Okay, that's
You
not
have
too
to wait a year until you can retake it.
bad.
I've got full faith in you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, 100%. You would have gone in and absolutely smashed it. Yeah, anything else from Christmas, Big Dog? Did you get any nice Christmas presents?
Oh yeah, I got a darts board. Um,
Did you?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you about this, but I was playing around the world the other day, and then I hit the last 10 all in a row, including Green Bull.
Oh
I
my
got
God.
Wow.
from 12 all the way to the end. Just consecutive darts.
I hate that you're so much better than me. It's
I'm not. That's only happened once. I don't think I could ever do it again. But
you say that, but you're an unbelievable player. God, I'm
I mean,
fuming.
last time we played, I did lose.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you succumb to the pressure a little bit
The
that
pressure from the
time.
monster couldn't handle it.
So you know when you aim for 20 and you get one in the one in the five,
Oh
one
yeah.
in 20, you get 26. Well, I've started aiming for seven because then you get one in the 19, one in the 16, one in the seven. That's 42. The thing is, it's so hard to tell if you're actually getting better because I feel like I get closer to what I'm aiming for, but if you miss,
No,
then it's still shit. So
I definitely got better, and I got better. I got worse because I was just then hitting 26 rather than like randomly hitting a 12 or an 18 or whatever.
yeah, yeah, no,
And
exactly.
you just you get better, and you actually just get worse.
It's a cruel game, a very cruel game.
Why you got to play around the world or cricket?
Yeah, yeah, around the world's good. Sorry, did you want me to say more on around the world?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got anything to add to that. Around the world's good.
Yeah, it's just waiting for Mike to take over, but
All
that's
right,
just
Yeah.
well, I'm happy to. I already had the segue ready, but I didn't want to take over straight away. I wanted, if you had any more to say about darts, then
go on,
Oh,
segue
no.
right in. Something
okay.
about a bullseye.
Well. Speaking of a cruel game, I think we could turn our attention to Survivor Southampton. Um, so first of all, Big Dog, I'm not sure this has actually ever come up within the series itself. Would you be able to tell all our fans why you are referred to as Big Dog?
Oh, that came first year of university. Um, I saw Lenny was running for president, and I thought that's just not going to end well. So I thought I'd take the initiative, um, run against him, and and Mike kindly wrote me a speech because I'm sure he didn't think Lenny would do a good job either. Um, and he gave me a great speech, and in it I called myself Big Dog, and it's literally just stuck from there.
While your campaign for president may have been unsuccessful, Big Dog, it does look like you were finally able to get your revenge on Lenny in Survivor Southampton. So
I,
it did finally work out eventually. Yeah, Lenny, how did the whole president thing work out for you in the end?
Yeah, no, I wish Big Dog won, to be honest.
Oh,
Um, I remember being at the front when the people were doing the votes, and Big Dog was terrified that he was actually going to win. And I was just like,
you're
do
just
you know
there
what?
convincing me the entire time.
Yeah, I was like,
You're like,
do you
people are
know
just going to
what?
vote for you as a joke.
I feel like people are going to let you win. I dropped an absolute howler of a speech as well.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
actually, it really wasn't great.
because, to be honest, I just assumed I was going to get voted in. So why even do a speech? Um, so I think I went up and spoke
why
for
show
that.
you care? People will just probably vote for you anyway.
Yeah, they don't have an option. Realistically, I'm not getting Ron, and if Chris wins, I'm not running again. So that was the dream scenario. But I didn't really enjoy being the president that much. It's just a lot of effort.
You did a pretty good job from what I can remember.
Yeah, obviously I did a good job,
Oh, all right.
but
Yeah, obviously.
All right,
yeah,
well, I take it back.
but goes without saying. I was good at it. It's not fun though.
Right.
I wouldn't do it again.
Who was your committee? Did you have anyone that you had to whip into shape?
No, my committee was really good.
Oh,
I had Liam Lou,
oh
Beth
yeah.
Jeffrey, so I didn't have to worry about any of the like coaching stuff
Hmm.
because they were very good. Sam Sorensen did his job perfectly, from what I
I
recall.
That's exactly what I would have expected.
I definitely didn't do the kit order. No, that was Sam.
I
Smash
definitely don't
that.
remember you shouting at Sam.
That's a joke. That's a joke. I forgot about
So what exactly happened again, Lenny? Just remind me.
we turned up on the Saturday morning of the tournament, and
Particularly for
and
beginners.
yeah, and he gets the he gets the like like the freshers kit, gets that out, and it's all just damp because he's washed it, but he's not left sufficient time to dry it, and I was quite annoyed, and apparently I let that show to the outside. I believe the words "just do better next time" came out of my mouth.
I feel like
So,
Sorensen did quite a good job on the weren't there some hoodies that got ordered that year?
oh, the fleeces, yeah, Will Jeffrey did those. The kit order I did.
Was Will Jeffrey secretary that year?
Yeah, Will was very good.
Yeah.
Aaron was very good as well. Um, can't remember who else was on committee.
What was Aaron? Oh,
Treasure.
treasurer.
Did you
Yeah.
have Ned and TJ?
Oh, Ned and TJ were great. The socials were good that year. We had a good time. I mean,
Who-
obviously, the best socials were the ones that were happening on a Friday night.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Fast and Furious Fridays.
that's what I'm most proud of in my president year that
What,
took
Fast and
place.
Furious?
That took place. The club was at its peak when Fast and Furious was happening. You can't convince me otherwise.
I mean,
Just
I
let
went
history
to
repeat.
one of them and I didn't really enjoy it, but
Yeah, but that's because you're a loser at the end of the day.
You went to
It's
the big one though.
I did, of course. I came out for the big one. I was busy
you're a
chasing
fake
clout.
fan, the fakest fan you'll ever meet.
That was very good fun. The because I believe the first Fast and Furious one I went to was I think it was the first ever one, so it's the first film, which
Yeah,
I don't know what you guys think because I haven't seen any of them other than the 10th one. Um, not I wasn't massively interested.
Oh, it's not its peak.
Okay.
Well, some people say it is its peak, the early ones, but
no, Tokyo Drift is peak number
no,
three.
no, it's not. It's not.
No,
It's not.
it is.
Fast and Furious 7 is the peak right
Oh
there.
no, no, no,
When
no.
they bring
The
in
ending's
Jason
good, but
Statham into the mix,
no,
it's a different game.
no.
I will say
Just
I
wrong.
was a bit perplexed having only seen bits of the first one that I then fell asleep during, where they were just kind of racing some cars. So then going to see the 10th one, where there was a scene, I believe in Rome, where Vin Diesel or someone's driving along, he hits like a wrecking ball and gets spun perfectly. So he like gets flung over a bridge and then lands and then just keeps driving. And then they're like constantly trying to save the world. A little bit unsure as to what happened in the intervening 8 films that got them to that point.
Yeah,
They went to
but
space
you
at
just
one
have to
point.
watch and see.
Also, all of the memes about people talking about family and having a barbecue and stuff, I thought was just like, a passing joke that briefly happened once. But the fact that it then came up quite a lot in that film, all I'm saying is I'm very much looking forward to. Isn't it only like 3 months or something when the next one's due?
No, it's another year. Someone needs to
Um,
update that event on Facebook. Put another year on it.
well,
When is it meant to be? Because I'll update it after this.
I looked up the other day because I went on Facebook and saw the my events section. It's just that.
Mm-hmm.
It just says 2026.
Be a six Precious Road again. I'm sure we'll have some kind of funeral beforehand. Don't know what for, but something.
I'm sure something that will happen between now and then we can claim.
Yeah.
I gave away the funeral casket pretty recently.
Oh no.
Um, gave away for free on Facebook Marketplace because it was taking up room.
To be fair, I think a year extra into the future will give Strath opportunity to total another car, and we'll have a funeral for that.
I don't think it'd be too long.
That's true.
Not
We
with
go
the way
again in
he
the next
drives.
month or two.
I bet that maniac was trying to drift in the snow the other day.
One thing, Big Dog, in case you are unaware, every 40 minutes it'll kick us out and I'll have to send a new link, so just be aware of that when that comes.
But that actually
No.
won't be a what for a while because obviously it's been 40 minutes since 6 now, but Mike was 15 minutes late, so we've still got a little bit of time.
Great burn, Lenny, but obviously that bit's going to be cut out, so we're not going to hear that. Um,
I'll bring it up enough times that it'll get in. One will slip through the cracks.
but I would like to get going because perhaps more than any other player, I have got so many questions here for Big Dog. So I think let's cover most of those. Then may as well do the episode. Let's just go through it chronologically. Um, so Big Dog, it seemed as though, based off the first few episodes, you're one of the few players that came into the season with a plan. Would you be able to give us some idea of what kind of vague ideas you had approaching the game coming into the season?
Well, yeah, my plan was very much to form an alliance with the people I know, uh, like Lenny, uh, Max, Strath, Oscar, some of those people, and and then we had the Isle of Wight solution was like a couple of days beforehand, and I was speaking to Divya, and she was basically saying how she didn't know anybody in the club other than Lucy. And my plan was basically just make an alliance with her, vote Lucy out, and then she'd just tell me anything, and she wouldn't have anybody else to go to.
Do you know, I think you're the first person that's come on here and has talked about having not conversations specifically about Survivor because that's what other players like Sock were being accused of before the game, basically going up to people and asking them to form an alliance. But you're the first person that's been just kind of scoping people out and being like, so you feeling like you're close to anyone? If you had the option to work with someone in a game, maybe would you?
I didn't do it on purpose for Survivor. It just happened to
Oh, okay.
happen. Just a conversation we had. Um,
Well, maybe that's got to be a question for Divya then. Maybe she was scoping you out. Maybe it's the other way around. I mean, obviously, you mentioned what Lenny, Max, Strath, Oscar. Is this the Fast and Furious crew?
yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah. You don't spend every Friday night watching Fast and Furious and not form a close bond. Um, I mean, we were the family. I just wanted to get the family back together.
Who is what in this family?
I'd say Oscar's probably the uncle from Tokyo Drift. Um, did you come dressed as that? As
Yeah, it
him?
was. I came just as him.
Ah, no, I do think Oscar could have been the uncle, but
Yeah,
but then he just turned out to be a coward. Is there any characters in Fast and Furious who are cowards?
they all seem to be quite brave, to be fair, with the stuff they're doing.
Surely the cowards got killed off. In what way was Oscar cowardly? What in Survivor? You think he was
In
cowardly?
Survivor, yeah, it was. I mean, you have to agree with Ben. I've watched the podcast. Completely agree. Completely cowardly. Um, just, I mean, he didn't do anything, did he? Just wanted to form a alliance with Noel and hope for the best. What a coward!
Well, he had his plan. He formed his alliance. That seems like job done from my side. Um, so you came in with this idea of forming an alliance. Is this something that you learned from last season? Can you talk about your experience in season one and any lessons that you might have learned from that or from watching, Noel and Beth make it as far as they did?
Season one then wasn't in it for too long. Oscar, Lenny, Max alliance, whoever was in that alliance, they made it a lot further than I thought they would. And I thought, well, that worked quite well. But I think the main thing I've learned is just throw out a name. Just be aggressive.
Mm.
If you just throw out a name, people will be scared of you and then just will try and avoid you and they won't try and vote you out, typically. Fight back against the people.
And with your alliance, did you deliberately at the start of the game try and pick out the most intelligent, strategic players to join you, or was that
Um,
just a coincidence?
Unfortunately, Lenny, they were all on the other tribe forming alliances with Noel.
I mean, I did kind of want to form an alliance with you, Lenny. But realistically, what happened is, was it me, you, and Isaac just stood together, and I was like, this will work perfectly, and
Yeah,
it was
it
just
was.
coincidence.
It
It's
was great times that Saturday. Really great
yeah,
times.
Was it just those were kind of two people you
the,
wanted anyway, and you finally had a chance with just the two of them?
Lenny was someone I kind of wanted, um, and we all, um, but Isaac was just standing there with us, and I
Yeah,
thought
I
he'd
think
do
it
a
was
good
just
job.
we were just in that three, and
Yeah, it really was.
then
I, I
that
didn't, I didn't I didn't think about forming alliance with Isaac beforehand. It was just if I was going to choose, it would have been Lenny and Oscar rather than maybe Max or Strath.
I think your twist basically cemented it in that first round where me, Isaac, and Crit and Big Dog, sorry,
Hmm.
all got left, and we just sort of looked at each other like, perfect, let's just vote out Faris or Archie. So
Yeah,
dream start.
it really
Do you
was.
think, Big Dog,
But
looking back on that choice in round one, do you think it was a good choice, or are you thinking more, oh, maybe I should have played with so and so and would have done better?
no, it was. I think it was a good choice. It's how I wanted to play. Isaac turned out to be a good ally. He stuck with me. Lenny, well, we all know how snaky Lenny is. I I knew. we wouldn't form alliance forever, but he's good to have on your side and not against you. So
So is that something that you were cognizant of at the time? Were you just like, okay, it's great to have Lenny for now, and like probably in on the first day at least, he's not got much reason to go against me. But did you
yeah,
always
yeah.
have in the back of your mind, but maybe he'll go for me later?
Oh, I knew he wouldn't stick loyal to me. I knew that for a fact. So I mean, the one thing I wanted to do was to really win over Isaac and Divya to make sure when we formed the alliance, we they would try and stick with me over Lenny because I wanted that kind of power. Otherwise, Lenny could have just got me out instead.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like especially from Saturday, you were the one person on that tribe that was never in any trouble at all. How can you then go about doing that? How can you ensure that Isaac and Divya are more loyal to you than Lenny? Is there anything you can remember actively trying to do?
Well, I'd say this: me and Divya agreed to share the prize money. Um, I know that isn't allowed, but I didn't find out until the second day. And um, so the very first thing we I did was agree to share the prize money with Divya, um, not knowing that was against the rules. And then with Isaac, I think it is you just when it was me and Divya, Lenny and Isaac left, um, just being confident and making sure Isaac knew that I, me and Divya were really strong alliance, and if he wanted to stay in, he'd have to stick with us two, otherwise we might vote him out. And then and then he was just loyal from then on.
Yeah, he's a bit of a coward though, isn't he, Isaac? At the end of the
Oh no,
day.
he is absolutely.
So obviously, Big Dog, as we say, you were very well insulated on day one. However, your tribe just kept losing. So like you probably wouldn't be voted out from Ruba, but you weren't getting many people through to the merge at this point. How are you feeling about your chances where like you may have been saved, but it wasn't looking good long term?
My ambitions going into the game were actually I wasn't actually thinking I had a chance of winning, to be honest. I was just wanting to get to the second day, make it a few rounds in the second day. That was my basic goal. Um, um, I just thought if I have my strong alliance, then it doesn't matter if we keep losing. Um, that was really all I was thinking.
Okay. You say you didn't back yourself to, you were just like, oh, I'll probably be voted off at some point. Is that just because, it's a game of 18 players and 17 of them get voted off? Or did you think that you had a specific kryptonite that was going to do you in the end?
I mean, partly is just there's you got a 1 in 18 chance of winning. Um, but the other thing is I thought Lenny, no, better me strategically, and like Isaac or Will would be better than me in the challenges. So I just thought chance of me winning on that high, but give it a go anyway.
Okay. There was a lot of chatter throughout the pre-merge, especially on the Merak tribe. Everyone was worrying what's going to happen when Noel and Nenny get to each other at the merge. There was a lot of fear on the Merak tribe as to keeping Noel in the game for long enough. Did you have a
Mhm.
similar fear, or were you thinking, well, if Noel does come over, maybe he's more likely to work with me, and then that's good for me?
I didn't want to open up at all. I was more scared of Will and Noel than Lenny and Noel. Because I thought I had the alliance with Lenny, he wouldn't just give that up just to go with Noel. I didn't think at the time. I thought Lenny and Noel would be competitors against each other. I was more scared of Will and Noel than Lenny. But I mean, I did want Noel out. That's all I wanted to say. Just want him out.
I've got a list here of all of the tribe challenges, and I could, if you want, I can just read through them, and if you have any notes on them,
Hmm.
you can just, yeah, just stop me and we can chat about them. All right, so first of all, there was the reward challenge where you would have been paired with Max. Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was one
yes.
thing we talked about. Why did you make Max be the one that was doing all the remembering?
Um, well, first of all, I did know he had bad memory. But I do have dyslexia, and part of that is memory loss. I've literally got documentation telling me with describing my poor memory. So
That pair was doomed from the start. The two
I, I,
worst
I
people
don't I
possible
don't know if
teamed up.
Max mentioned if he, that he had bad memory. I
It's
did
the
though.
it's the kind of thing that Max just wouldn't even consider mentioning, even though it's very important to the task.
Well, maybe he'd forgotten. Yeah, that's all for all the fans out there. Okay, so that not a lot of chance in that one. The next one was the blindfold challenge, where Will was the caller, and you and Isaac just ended up being stood in the corner the whole time.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's not. I don't think it was actually that bad. Me and Isaac probably complained a lot about that. But if other people close to the stuff, then may as well just use them. But I will say, like, Will and Strat did a good job, but Will was having the pause. How could he sort of gets over and couldn't do it? That's just that's embarrassing.
Who would have been voted off round one had like no shenanigans happened? Had Lucy not played that advantage? Who would have gone?
Lucy,
Okay.
Lucy, I think. Yeah.
I wanted him out.
Yeah. I mean, me, Isaac, and Chris probably, and Will would have all. You're really fucking us around tonight, aren't you?
I can only apologise, but okay. So what the viewer won't be able to appreciate is that I would say there's been about a 10-minute pause between when we were last discussing Lucy, something about Lucy, and when I managed to get everyone back on. And I can explain the reason. First of all, big shout out to Zoom, okay, because this is what we're recording on. And it's been very good to us. Admittedly, it does kick us out every 40 minutes, which has been very annoying throughout the season. But it's free and it's as good as we could hope to get in pretty much every other way. Okay. However, it has finally happened where I went to start the new meeting straight away and get ready to send the link to my two co-podcasters right here, and Zoom finally said, "You're on the free trial, so you have to wait 10 minutes before the next Zoom call," which
Really?
brutal. Never had that before. So then it suggested that I actually pay to get it. So that is what I was doing over the last like 5 minutes. So I have now, for a relatively reasonable price, now acquired Zoom on a monthly plan, which I will be deleting in about two podcasts' time. So
So we don't get kicked out anymore.
in theory, no. So that's the good news.
I just found out that my Tesco delivery for my weekly shop has been cancelled due to severe weather.
Oh,
So I'm not in a good mood.
oh
Uh,
no.
I'm actually fuming. I don't know what I now have to go out and get dinner after this podcast because it's no longer being delivered to me. What's severe? It was snowing like 4 days ago. It's not severe now.
How far away
Honestly,
is this Tesco?
I don't know. Not that far though. There's a Tesco in Leeds, 100%.
The weather up north must be awful.
Yeah, but it's a lot colder than where you are right now, Chris, in the Midlands.
Yeah,
Uh,
God, I
it's
imagine.
actually my room is fucking freezing. I don't think my window works in terms
Where
of
did you get your radiator working?
yeah, but it's shit. It's on. It's warm if I'm stood within about that far. And apart from that, it's not doing any work. The window is basically just letting cold air just flow in at will, and don't know what I'm supposed to do apart from just be cold, which is what I'm doing.
Okay, so just to finish the really jarring transition because I've, thanks to Zoom, lost completely the thread of the conversation. All I know is it was something about Lucy. Oh, we said Lucy would have been voted off round one. Did that go anywhere
Mhm.
further than that? I feel like that was
No, not really.
no.
Really.
Okay. Um, Big Dog, the pole building challenge. Any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. In I watched it back, and in it, I think me and Will were saying how good the poll was. In reality, I knew at the time it was awful. Um, I I screwed over Divya and Isaac completely. Like, but I wasn't gonna say that at the time.
You should have said it in a confessional. That would have been so good.
I didn't. The problem is my camera phone wasn't working at the time, and I always had to do my confessionals in front of people. Um,
Hmm.
and I never felt quite confident to say exactly what I thought.
Oh no.
Um,
Wow, well, we can finally vindicate Isaac and Divya there. Because they were both
yeah,
quite
no.
close to being voted off that round because of that. But
That's completely me and Will's
I
fault.
mean, the main person going after them though was Will, to be fair. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure he's got a leg to stand on. Okay, how about the memory challenge? I mean, I feel like you're just going to say that I screwed you guys over, but
You did.
Um, I mean, you did, but I don't think it was that bad. Um, we were
Whoa,
losing
no,
throughout.
hold on a second. We would have won that challenge had Mike not fucked it for us at the end of the
Yeah, we
day.
would have won that challenge. My and that did. But I think the other mistake was having us on the same table. I think it's just too easy to copy.
Yeah.
I think two separate tables, and also Ben was awful. I mean, Ben is the reason we could have won. They
Yeah.
they were much better than us
Oh
in the
yeah,
end, I think.
Ben dropped one of the worst challenges. It's a shame because he definitely would have gone home on that challenge afterwards.
The survivor gods decided that Ben was he was he
Ben,
was he was going to
he
go out
got a
much
few
later.
lifelines, that guy, honestly.
Big Dog, why did you decide that Divya was more valuable to you than Will?
Because I
Obviously,
was not alliance with Divya.
obviously, if you're deciding between Will and Divya, Will is a lot more chaotic, but
Hmm.
Divya won't get targeted before you. So, like, do you think it was a smart idea to keep Will over Divya? I mean, obviously, Will comes
Uh,
back
um,
anyway.
I mean, the idea of having Divya is just that I didn't think people would expect me to have an alliance with her, and she would be involved in groups which I wouldn't necessarily be involved in. Um, so I thought she'd have, yeah, I think people would rather give information to Divya than Will. I thought she might have more valuable information for me.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Lenny agrees because he did the exact same thing.
Will's like, especially with Noel on the other side as well, not
Yeah.
necessarily someone that you trust to be on your side.
Yeah, it's not someone I could really form a strong alliance with. But yeah, I felt like Divya I could.
I mean, it's definitely a good strategy because it's something you mentioned earlier, Big Dog, and something Divya's been mentioning in the last couple of episodes. Like you were saying, I want to align with Divya and knock out Lucy, which eliminates her options. Obviously, you're unaware that Lenny's got this close thing with Divya supposedly, but you're thinking
Hmm.
now Divya can now only come to me. So, like for example, we see in later rounds when Divya knocks out Isaac, she's saying now Big Dog can only come to me.
Yeah. But then Lucy comes back in, which a little bit ruined that.
Mm.
Um, but I do think it worked well.
Who was your closest pre-merge ally?
I think it would have been Lenny, probably. Like I was close with Divya and Isaac as well, but I think Lenny's the one I trusted because he was the one who was coming up with ideas and stuff,
Mm.
Yeah,
whereas the other two weren't.
I'd agree with that from my side. I felt like me and Chris were running the show, so to speak.
Yeah, I wasn't scared that Isaac would come up with an idea to try and vote me out, whereas
Yeah.
a little bit worried Lenny might. So,
Well, yeah, I guess for good reason in the end.
yeah. Hmm.
Well, let's take this further. So, one of the big unanswered questions of the season, Big Dog, if the Ruber Four went to Tribal Council one more time, who leaves in that spot? It's you, Lenny, Isaac, and Divya all going to Tribal Council. Obviously, Divya has her idol.
Divya, I would have wanted to keep anyway. Um, so it'll be between Lenny and Isaac, and probably gone for Lenny, probably.
Criminal.
Okay. Did you have any plans for merge? Because obviously, Holly chooses you to have that dinner together. Was Holly? You
Mhm.
claimed that she was someone you were looking at trying to team up with anyway.
Yeah, so the day before, me, Lenny, Isaac, and Divya all talked about the other tribe. I think Lenny actually suggested Holly, and I just thought, yeah, that actually worked pretty well. And then she selected me for the dinner date, um, and then I thought, yeah, this is a good opportunity to try and get some information and get you on our tribe, well, on our alliance. Other than that, I wanted Noel now, and I think as a group we wanted Ben out. Just I don't remember why anymore, but we did.
Okay. Were you surprised coming into the merge that the Merak team was so divided? I mean, obviously Strath gets voted out by them and then comes back, so he's kind of pushing the narrative of let's get rid of all of Merak. But were you surprised that they weren't trying to stick together as Ruba were?
I wasn't that surprised because he had Noel in that tribe, and he just causes chaos and disruption. I think he's the best at the game. He's so manipulative. It's it's just a joy to watch him, to be honest. But I think he just no one could trust him, and there's just no cohesion within the tribe. And Strath is just Max and Strath are just absolute loose cannons.
Yeah, how did you feel? Obviously, you were saying that you wanted to work with Strath and Max. How did it feel seeing them? Well, you watched Strath get voted off. Were you gutted? Were you hoping to work with both of them?
But not at that point. Once for my lines with Lenny and Isaac, that's what I wanted. Um, I wanted Strath out, to be honest, because he's a loose cannon, and I thought he might just vote me out, just try and annoy me. Um, Even if it was literally just bad for his game, he would try it anyway. So I want him out.
Okay, we played this game with Isaac, big dog. Um, so we're at final nine. The question is, how does the post merge shake out if Lenny doesn't flip? So we're assuming that Lenny just remains loyal to you guys. Presumably, I think, yeah, you're at final nine. Presumably, you continue with the plan to vote off Sock. So Sock's gone as well. How does the game play out from your perspective?
Um, what I was thinking at the time, I just didn't see a world where Lenny wouldn't flip. So I didn't have any kind of plan or anything for that. Uh, what would have happened? I think eventually we would have voted Lenny out. I think me, Deary, and Isaac were the stronger alliance in our alliance, and we would have all agreed Lenny would go at some point. I don't
So
know
the three
when.
of you go to the top three. Who else are you bringing Holly deep in with you? Presumably, Strath gets knocked out
Yeah,
ahead.
I
Does
wanted Holly.
does Lenny and Will
Uh,
go out at sort of seven and six, and then Lucy? How does that go?
I don't know which exact order it would be, but I wanted the final four to be me, Holly, Isaac, and Divya. And then I wasn't sure what I'd do then. I was either vote out Isaac or vote out Holly. Probably would have voted wanted Isaac out. And then taken Holly and Divya to the end. Or or the other thought I had was just to take me, Isaac, Divya to the end and then sabotage I the final challenge somehow. Um, I don't know what's allowed, but just try to sabotage him so that either me or
That would not have been allowed.
What would you have done if someone just pushed someone over in the final three? Like,
Um, I would have said that's not allowed.
Big Dog
the,
loses his balance with the pan above his head and spills into
yeah.
Isaac. Water goes everywhere.
I we would have had to do some kind of reset, but Big Dog
I
did
didn't
it out.
expect that to be the challenge. I was expecting it to be something else. I thought it'd be like Mario Kart, and I'd just target Isaac with red shells or something.
Right.
Um, I really didn't think that'd be the challenge at all. I thought it'd be something different from last year.
That'd be a great final three. Mario Kart, 32 races, no items. That's one I'd
50
enjoy.
cc. No, if for anyone watching that thinks they'd be keen to play, Mario Kart will never be one of the challenges, purely because it would just be so boring to film.
You could like screen record it.
Mhm.
No, it's not gonna it'll just be so
Get screen
boring.
record it and then have a camera on the players. I think that'd be brilliant.
No,
Get
genuinely.
like TG Roberts to set it up. He knows what he's doing. Be
Lenny,
incredible.
if you wanna host season three and include a Mario Kart challenge, then I'll be happy
60,
to play. But anything that
16
I'm
Mario
running,
Kart immunity rounds.
yeah,
Everyone would be on the Mac bike and you'd be in the baby boomer. I think, Mike, to be honest,
yeah, whoever
just to
receives votes gets to choose who's in which vehicle for the next round. It's like, okay, well, welcome to the next round, and it's well, you won't be surprised to learn it's balloon battle.
No, I
Everyone's
wouldn't do
devastated.
around that shit at the end of the day.
God, that was so bad, but great on DS. Incredible on DS. That was one of my favorite ones. So, Big Dog, you essentially sail through most of the game until you get into quite a tight spot at final 11. So I tell half the
Mhm.
tribe to get up and leave, and you're left with Will, Sock, Holly, and Ben at tribal council. Okay, you've already made it clear that Ben's your target. It looked as though it was kind of between Ben and Sock. For me, sitting there at the time, I was amazed that they didn't all get together and vote you off. How were you feeling at the time? Were you feeling nervous that it could have been you? And how did you manage to survive that round?
So if I be honest, I couldn't remember that round at all. I was watching it back, and then I was like, as I got to it, I was watching the final count, and I was like, how am I not in any danger here at all? How did I not get voted out? Because all I can remember is I didn't get voted out. Um, but I guess me and Holly were in a pretty tight alliance at that point. I think I think that helped a lot, and we did discuss before that what would happen if it was just us lot. I think me, Will, and Holly agreed to go after Ben. And I think people just want to get through at that point. And if like Sock and Will knew if they didn't go for me, they'd be safe for the next round because Ben would go. Whereas if you try and get something else to happen, you could end up in trouble. I think is what really happened.
Yeah, I think maybe it kind of harkens back to something you were saying earlier. So you were saying that if you were the one that was constantly throwing out names and dictating the plays, then people would be
Mhm.
kind of too fearful to say your name. So when we had Ben on,
Yeah,
when we had Will on the podcast, we spoke to both of them about it, and they both seemed to be under the impression that they were kind of like so scared to be the one that would be targeted that they just in the moment just didn't want to say anything, even though it was obviously to Ben's detriment. So do you
Ben's
reckon?
the only one I didn't understand why Ben didn't try it because Ben didn't really have anything to lose. I guess he was just hoping Sock would get voted out instead.
Hmm. One question that has been kind of pulling at us throughout a lot of this big dog. Why were you so keen to protect Sock at Final 10? So it's between Oscar, Strath, and Sock by the sound of things. Lenny's really trying to protect Strath, and that kind of makes sense in the episode. Why are you trying to keep Sock safe here?
Well, because I knew Lenny wasn't going to stick with my alliance. I knew Lenny was going to turn on me, and if he was going to form an alliance with anyone, it would be Oscar and Strath, and it's least likely going to be one with Sock. So I thought, um, I didn't mind if Sock stayed in. I wanted Strath or Oscar to go, um, because then it just takes away Lenny's power of getting me out, really.
Wow. Damn, what an answer, Lenny.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It would have been a lot easier if Oscar was in the game, I think, because you would have had me, Will, Oscar, and Strath. That's four, and then we would have just needed one person. Like Lucy would have been on her own at that point.
Mm.
No sockless. Um,
And you could make
obviously,
you could probably play on the fact you could be like Big Dog's the one been dictating this. He was the one that called to get rid of Sock.
yeah.
Mm.
So fuck you.
Yeah, no, that's great play. It looked like a very minor move at the time, but I mean, it immediately pays off in the next round where Sock is part of the group that doesn't flip. So yeah,
Yeah.
works out very nicely there. How did you feel at Final Nine, finding out that Lenny was throwing your name out? Was this earlier than you were expecting it to have happened?
Yeah. No, I think it was about time I was expecting it to happen. Um, and well, I wasn't surprised. I was just, I was slightly concerned. Because if it happened later, I think it would have been harder for him. Um, but I mean, it was fine in the end. Not really a threat, was it?
I think this is the round, Big Dog, that you find and play a hidden immunity idol. Can you talk us through this?
Oh yeah. Um, there was a map, which it was one of the most obvious maps I've ever seen, to be honest. Takes you right to the tree, and everyone just everywhere around the garden. I didn't understand. Went straight to the tree, found it pretty much immediately, and then Lucy shouts out that I found it, and that, that actually really annoyed me. I don't know why she did that. I wanted to play it because I felt like if I didn't get voted out then, I would be the I mean, Will would go out instead, and after that, it would just be Strath and Lenny trying to vote me out, and they'd have no power. I thought I'll use it now, and later on it won't be needed really. I don't want to go out with an idol. Don't want to do teacher Robbo.
it's just great. Doing it to TG Robbo is fantastic. Old guy.
It was great how every time anyone found an idol, they immediately said, "I don't want to go out with it like TG Robbo."
Just makes me so happy that we voted him out in season one like
What I should have done every time it got mentioned, I should have put in the clip of him getting voted off. That would have that's my one regret with the editing. Okay.
that.
So Big Dog, you're saying that it was mainly just because like you've got the idol, you just don't want to go home with it, and you knew that your name was out there, so that was why you played it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I didn't think it'd be as useful the next round. I don't. The threat wouldn't be as obvious the next round. Like with my lines, it'd be. I think we had like four in the alliance, and with seven people, which means theory I would be safe.
I mean, I was going to say that you could have hung on to it and then saved Isaac at final six, but presumably, let's say you had hung on to it, you presumably would have played it at final seven when Lenny got saved with the idol, right?
I don't know. As exactly what my thought as well for playing the out of den was that I didn't have to think about when I'd have to play next, and because I didn't like having an idol. It's just too much pressure. You're just constantly overthinking whether you should play it or not, who to play it on. I
Mm,
just get rid of it, focus on my game. Uh, that's what I did.
that's true. To be fair, there's a good chance you would have also played it the round that Strath stole your vote.
It's just I just don't like having the pressure of having to think about playing it or not. It's just completely unpredictable. You're just guessing of when, when and where is best to play it.
Mm.
Because I mean, in the round I did play it, I would be better off putting on Isaac, but like I wouldn't have done that because if Isaac goes, I'm still in the game. That was a bigger problem for me.
Can I just ask first,
Yeah.
with the final eight, um, what made you pick Strath over me in terms of voting them out? And
Um,
any regrets there? Or
um, I, I generally don't remember. I think at the time I thought everyone would have think you're a bit of a snake now. No one trusts you, and I thought you probably didn't have that much sway in the tribe anymore.
you couldn't predict what was going to happen.
Have we
No.
played this out? What happens if Lenny goes at eight? So Strath sticks around. The vote then presumably goes to planet seven, which would have been so Strath then goes at seven. Then I think either way, Big Dog, I think Sock and Lucy are coming for you. So it kind of depends on what happens at that final six vote. Because I think their
I
plan
think
was to convince you to vote for one of them, play the idol, and then bounce either you or Isaac out of the game.
I'm convinced Lucy wins in every situation but the one we had.
I don't. It depends if Divya sticks to the alliance or not, which I don't think she would have. But if she had, it would have been uh, me, Isaac, Divya v Doc, Lucy, Holly, and we wouldn't have told them who we were voting for because we knew Holly had an idol. She would have still had at that point.
Oh,
So
that
we
is
would have. So it would have been unless one of them had won the immunity. Um, if Soccer won the immunity, then they would all be safe and be fucked. But um, if somebody else wins it, then they have one immunity idol. We wouldn't tell them who we're voting for. They Lucy would be having to 50-50 guess who we're voting for.
I mean, that's final six immunity, Big Dog. So it's just whether you think you beat Lucy in that puzzle challenge with the lolly sticks.
I mean, I won that challenge. I don't think Lucy would have won it.
Okay.
I think
They would have had two idols, to be fair, between the three of them.
yeah, but I would have never voted for Holly anyway.
But I mean,
And I
I
think
think in
Holly
that
would have
scenario,
protected
Holly's still
herself.
on your side.
Yeah,
Is she? And I feel like they were talking
maybe.
about Holly was talking about teaming with Sock and Lucy at final seven.
I think you can
Discussion.
convince Holly to stay with us potentially,
Yeah, but I
but
think so
I
much of that, Lenny, was because you've been talking her ear off about how like Big Dog was going to make it far. If you hadn't made it so transparent what the alliances were, I think she still thinks that she's
Oh,
specifically aligned with
maybe.
Big Dog.
yeah, and there's no way she plays her idol for anyone other than herself.
That's the one thing Holly would never do.
Yeah, it would take someone really charismatic to persuade her to part with that idol for anyone other than herself. Do you think there's anything you could have done to save Isaac at final six? Is there like a moment rewatching this strategy, looking back, are you just like, oh, I should have pulled Divya for this extra conversation and just locked it down? Or like maybe you should have spoken to Sock again. Is there anything you feel like you could have done?
I, d- I definitely think I could do more. So from what I remember, I was just so mentally trained at that point, and I won immunity. I was just like, oh, just not going to even talk to anyone this round if I can, and just sit back and relax. I thought the after the big red alliance was strong enough, and with having three against three, I didn't think it was that big a risk. And me being safe, I knew even if one of us does go, it won't be me. So I didn't really try that round, do anything. And I mean, instantly after either gets voted out, I realized that was a mistake. Um, so I think there's definitely stuff I could have done. I could have talked to Divya more, talked to Sock more, talked to Holly. I reckon I could convince any of those to stick with me or something. There's so many options I could have had from that, and I just didn't do anything really.
What would you have said to Divya to make sure that she stuck with you in that round?
I'll just tell how strong. I say I wanted it to be me and Divya in the final too,
Hmm.
and I'll just reiterate that to her. And if she tries to figure out Isaac, I'll tell her that I'll start bidding for her instead, or something.
How did you go about playing from the top throughout pretty much the whole game? It's a completely different style of game. Like we've seen Sock playing from the bottom for a while, we've seen Lenny playing from the bottom, but I feel like from the top, like you're the one that gets to make the decisions, so that's exciting. But you have to make sure that
Mhm.
you make the correct decisions because otherwise you're gonna leave enough players in the game that will come for you, which obviously does end
Um,
up happening. But how did you manage to maintain your power for so long?
it's completely by accident. I don't actually know what I did. Um, I had a plan of who I wanted to go on at certain points, and I made sure it was them. And then people just listened to me and just think it's just people just respect me for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, Lenny,
Oh,
can you speak to that at all? Was there anything that Big Dog was putting out there that just made it everyone just want to work with him?
Just a very charming man. Yeah, I was sort of happy to, you know, go along with what he was saying in the pre-merge, I guess. But yeah, obviously, I don't fully see it because, it got to a point where I was like, this guy's too powerful. And not many people seem to see that straight away. So I
mm,
guess it was that you know, you had everyone under control, but also for a lot of it, they just didn't seem to realize that, I guess.
yeah, I don't know how it happened. I didn't. I mean, my game plan coming into it was just to be in alliance and go under the radar in alliance and hopefully just do something at the end. And then I just ended up taking control. I guess a lot of people just weren't active enough, and I just went out and did that. Like I think what in the blue tribe, Slock went up to Noel and said, "Oh, let's figure out a big player," and then couldn't come up with a single name. Um, it's just stuff like that. No one was actually putting out names, so it meant that I was the only one actually doing stuff.
Can you just talk us through your feelings from the second Isaac got eliminated to you winning that final five immunity challenge?
I was pretty I don't know what the word is worried at the time because I really couldn't see myself going to the next round, then on to the final. Um, I didn't. I wanted to speak to Divya about why she'd done that. I didn't understand it. To me, it didn't make any sense at the time. Looking back at it, it does make sense, but I didn't understand at the time. Um, and I almost felt like giving up to be honest. I couldn't see a way through, and then it hit that shot. High release flick, bonked that, got, and yeah, I still wasn't particularly happy. I still didn't see myself getting through the next few rounds or anything. And at this point, Lenny got through way too far. I just, I was starting to hate him, to be honest.
Yeah, it does come across in the in that like pre-episode confessional. I was like, oh,
Because my whole game plan was basically around getting over Lenny and getting him out, forming an alliance, pushing him out of the alliance, and then voting him out, getting rid of anyone he could align with, and yeah, and then he was still in that final five, and I was just
I know.
slightly annoyed.
I was one high release flick away from beating you.
I know, but then as you look back at that, I think I should have just, if me and you form an alliance, there, I think I'll make it to the end.
Yeah, no, it's
But there's no way at that point I was gonna do that. I think I'd rather buy a season ticket to Dark County. Um, but yeah, I think if I team up with Lenny, I think either me or Lenny win.
I'm also having watched the Final Four challenge. I'm certain if Big Dog doesn't hit that high release flick, I win that challenge. I'm
Hmm.
so certain of it because everyone was shit at that challenge. Just from what it seemed like, everyone just did a terrible job.
Even in this universe where you guys magically decide to team up at Final Five, which clearly, based on the fact that you're out fifth and fourth, would have been the smart move. I still think, let's say Lenny does win at Final Four, I think you'd still be twitchy enough to then just get rid of Big Dog there, and then you'd presumably then leave in third.
No, I win the final three as well.
Yeah, I
It's not that
guess.
hard. Just
Yeah, well, we've seen what that challenge is now, so you can go on about whether you think you would have won it or not.
okay, I'm not sure I would have won that. Final four, I would have done that in under how long did it take them?
Um, oh God, I don't know, between 15 and 20 minutes, I'd
Well,
say.
8 minutes. I would have done it in 8 minutes.
Hmm. I mean, go back to that challenge. It was completely misplayed for me. I completely underestimated how hard it'd be. But finding the puzzle slide puzzle, uh, that would have been seconds. Doing the
The
climbing a
tree,
tree takes seconds. Finding the
yeah.
missing cards takes seconds, and then you have
But,
three out of four cubes,
but
and then
once
the
you have
fourth
two,
one's easy.
once you have two, it's easy.
Well, stock seems to take a while.
But that's what I don't understand because you know what colours are missing
Here we are.
from a
Yeah.
side at that point. So there's only so many combinations to try. Like so, say you've got yellow and purple on a side, you just get one cube, get the blue, try every possible combination with the top one, and then just do the same for any other blue on there. And then if
Mhm.
that's not it, then do the oh god, annoyed me.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
very easy when you think it's done like that, Lenny. But I remember after the challenge, loads of the eliminator players were looking at it and trying to do it, and none of them could solve it either.
No, it's not easy when you can, but when you have two of them set out for you, I think it's easy.
Mm.
Four on its own, I mean, there's so many combinations.
Yeah.
I was looking up earlier. There's like 3,456 combinations, I think, of how that puzzle can go. Um, actually, a very interesting solution in the field of maths that I work in. So I enjoyed reading that this afternoon.
Wow, maybe you would have been the favorite then. So you could either find a slide puzzle, you could sit in a tree, you could go and find the two missing playing cards, or you could do the tree puzzle. Were there any of those that it was just like, oh well, that would have been a complete waste of time, or would any of them been good options?
The tree puzzle would have been a waste of time.
It would have been. I think I'd already done the tree puzzle, so I think I might have gone for it if I was going to do one. But it would have been a waste of time. It would take 10 minutes, and the other two take seconds, really. The other three.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's got to be finding the slide puzzle and climbing the tree. But even doing the deck of cards wouldn't have taken that long. A couple
Yeah,
of minutes.
yeah. If I was to do that challenge again, I'll do all three of those, and then the final cube be easy. So
Mm.
Yeah. I think Big Dog and Divya's strategy was you had to feel
it's a
bad for
big
them.
mistake.
Because after a while I feel like you'd sort of made your bed and you
Yeah,
just sort of
I didn't want to go
soldiering on.
try and do the challenges after that because you just like they've Holly and Soccer already started, and I'd be 10 minutes behind, and it's it would have seemed pointless.
Yeah. Oh,
I
can I
think
also say this is why I thought I would have won? Because I knew that challenge was impossible just
Mhm.
looking at the four cubes. So I would have done the challenges straight
Yeah,
away.
we would have
Because
probably voted out Sock in the if we teamed up. We would have voted out Sock, so it would have been me, you, Holly, and Divya.
God, what a final four that would have been.
Yeah, I think Lenny probably wins that challenge then because Holly did do some of the things, but she was still quite slow.
Hmm.
And do you know what? If it was the final four and I was there instead of Sock, I think I would have been so annoyed about Divya that I would have just asked Chris to vote out Divya instead. If we were having that long tribal council where she was just like, oh, I'm going to bring it to a tie, I would just gone to Chris like, do you just want to vote out Divya? And me and Holly will vote for her.
I don't know if Holly would have voted. Surely at that point, Holly's just like, I definitely lose to Lenny or Big Dog. So she knows that she needs Divya still in the game.
But to be fair, I wouldn't have cared. I would have been immune. So
Would you have tied it with Big Dog against Divya and Holly?
maybe I would have. Maybe I'd just be fuming.
Okay, so a few notes I had throughout this challenge. So obviously everyone was assigned their own camera person, and Veronica drew the short straw of getting Sock, and Sock immediately sprints off, and she just loses him, which is brilliant. He does go and sit in the wrong tree, to be fair. Don't know how he managed to find the only other tree in the garden that I clearly wasn't referring to, but he
To be
finds
fair,
it.
did you say climb a specific? I thought you just said climb a tree in the
I
back
said get
garden.
in the bough of the tree in the garden, not thinking that there was just another tree. Um, but Sock finds it, but fair play. Holly goes up to do the cards, and someone has been watching my videos because she knew that the Ten of Clubs was going to be one of the cards that was missing.
That was incredible. To be fair, that was very impressive.
Yeah, great work from Holly. And unfortunately, less impressive when she failed to then find the one other card that was missing. Particularly savage when she like really mixed them up as she was leaving as well. Then I've got when, and I could have written this note down about six different times when we kept cutting back to Big Dog and Divvy just refusing to get any clues.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just that I thought if I try to go clues at that point, I'll just be behind Doc
Mm.
and Holly. So I thought my only chance at this point is just to solve it now, which I didn't. But,
you were getting funnier and funnier as the challenge went on.
oh,
In terms of
I was losing my mind.
I think it's cool, isn't it? Like the sunken cost fallacy or something. So you just kind of
Hmm.
keep going and going and going, and it's just getting worse and worse.
but there is a world where you would have just done it first time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I thought
Which
rolling the cubes, there's a chance they just line up perfectly.
what
But
would you have
Lenny,
done, Mark?
surely in that world, Lenny, there's no way that he hits that high release flick. So he's already been voted off by then, so it doesn't matter.
What would you have done though if someone did just stack them up perfectly straight away, like 5 seconds into the challenge?
Well, I would have awarded them immunity, and then I would have been like, "But no, guys, it's genuinely quite difficult. Like, I don't understand how he's done it." Well, I mean, it would be you know when you did that yeah the poll challenge when you picking up the coding wheel, it would be as though like you and Slaw immediately looked at the code numbers and were just like, "Oh well, hang on, it's just this," and then just answered it. It would be just as unlikely as that.
It's only a 1 in 3,500 chance.
Mm.
It's not bad odds.
I didn't realize throughout that challenge how much like ad-libbing I'd have to do. I'd assume that it would be similar to like the redemption challenge where people were just constantly running back and forth and then I'd be giving some clues eventually. But the fact that Big Dog and Divvy just stayed there the whole time, I was just like, I'm just gonna have to like keep just, ad-libbing and trying to have banter with them whilst we're doing this challenge. Like I didn't realize I was gonna have to be so chattery throughout this one.
I guess they just didn't like. I think looking at it, it seems like a simple puzzle.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought there'd be some kind of trick to it, but there
So like,
kind
I
of
feel like
isn't.
without knowing that it's really hard,
I
you
did my best to
wouldn't.
Mm,
make clear. Also, I would say there is one of the cubes, there is a trick, so you can kind of figure it out. But even then, it's still only, you can
yeah,
50-50.
But it
Basically,
just it just looks simple though. I think that's why.
which cube is it? So
this is the one with two purples.
one of the cubes has three reds on it.
Oh,
So you know that if you put it like this with all three reds, it's not possible based on the other cubes for it to be at this
Oh, so the
orientation.
reds have to go top and bottom, or
Yeah, or technically they could be two reds, but it just means you
oh
can
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
start to rule out some
yeah.
of the possibilities for one of the cubes. And then once you've got that one done, you can kind of then start to figure out the other cubes based on it. But as I said, when I did this puzzle on my own, and admittedly, all of the puzzles I did do, other than the five-piece puzzle, which did defeat me, but this puzzle I did do on my own. And as I said to you guys during the challenge, it took me 23, 24 minutes to solve on my own. without any help.
Mhm.
So like that would be, and I was just like, you could be luckier than me, but maybe you won't be. So that was, I kind of tried to make it as clear as possible that it was going to be a tricky one.
I just didn't believe you. Honestly.
Is there a set like painting that you took from somewhere, or did you just paint them yourself?
No, this one was one of the Survivor seasons
Okay.
because there was specifically only one solution for this one.
It's such a great puzzle, by the
Oh
Yeah,
way.
yeah, I hated it. I hated
It's
it.
it's such a beautiful, simple puzzle that's so hard. It's amazing.
but yeah, I thought it was smart of me to build in hints into the challenge. I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
made it a lot more
I
watchable.
yeah,
I
by the
just wish
way,
I'd just done the hints.
a great immunity challenge, just from my perspective.
Thank
I thought it
you.
was fantastic.
Hmm.
Okay, so we also get Sock failing to find the slide puzzle, which I didn't even try and hide. I just thought there's some holes in the wall. This is a really obvious place. Let me just put it there.
I saw Sock going around, going back inside. I was like, oh, Mike must have hidden this somewhere good. Then seeing where it actually was, like, it was actually just in the open.
Yeah. So Holly does find it immediately, but unfortunately cannot remember the four numbers on the top row. So she runs back outside. Sock follows her and looks at it over her shoulder, and she calls him a bastard. What do we think of this? I found that hilarious to watch back.
It,
Yeah, but just think about how much longer that would have taken if Stock hadn't followed her.
also, Holly completely fumbles this challenge where she could have had three blocks done
Hmm.
if she, you know, and Sock would have had one because
Hmm.
if she could just remember four numbers and
And find the
put the
card.
six of, yeah, put the six in the right suit.
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, I think the missing card was the six of diamonds. So what a miss! What a miss there.
Yeah.
Big dog, you say you're this close to throwing them out of the window at one point.
Probably accurate. Um, it, I just hated that challenge. Those blocks haunt me.
But that's the
Um,
thing because like you can't tell like how if you're even doing any better than you were.
yeah, that's the thing. I think. Oh, it must be this. I think I must have had like one block solved and then realized that maybe it wasn't.
Hmm.
Like there's just no method really. I know the red blocks can't go together, but you still don't know which way they're meant to be entirely. It's just it just thought it'd be so simple.
And then the one final note for the challenge I've got is at the end, Sock starts his own round of applause when I put the immunity on his neck. Enjoyed that watching it back. You got to admire a man that gets the ball rolling on his own round of applause. So at that point, so Big Dog, were you just like, well, I'm done, or did you think I can probably convince Divya here?
I thought I was done, and then I was like, may as well try. Um, and then she seemed willing to consider it, and then it was about trying to convince somebody else, which wasn't possible. Hoping something would happen for me. Wasn't really expecting anything though.
Holly's gunning for Big Dog. Makes sense because she was doing the same thing last round. Fair enough. Sock initially lies to Big Dog, then realizes that he doesn't need to because he's immune.
Hmm.
Big Dog at the start when Sock's just like, yeah, yeah, Holly, were you like, what's this guy on about? Why isn't he going for me?
I thought all my Christmas has come at once. It was it was brilliant. I didn't think he'd be lying, and then I mean, it's just like I had no chance. Just a little hope came into me, and I started playing the game properly. But yeah, it didn't work out in the end.
Okay, so Divya says in a confessional that she will never physically write Big Dog. And this brings us back, Lenny, and I'm glad that this specific situation came up because it comes back to a situation that we were chatting about a few weeks ago where you were trying to say that the option to vote for yourself should be a thing, and I was saying, no, it's terrible. This is the reason why it's terrible. Because how great was this episode that because Divya would have written her own name down and would have stood by while Big Dog got voted off. This time we actually forced her. Like, if you want to vote off Big Dog, then you're gone. You're gonna have to write his name down.
it would have saved like 5, 10 minutes out of my day today though, if she did just write out.
But surely, Lenny, as a juror, you'd have no respect at all for a player. Like, if at that point you've made the decision anyway, so you may as well just write their name down and own
I
it.
I lost a lot of respect for Divya in this tribal council, to be honest. Uh, I missed most of the rounds, so I only came back for the tribal council because I went to Sainsbury's after getting cruelly voted out. And just watching that tribal council was just it. It did piss me off a little bit because, especially when you end up like just voting Big Dog out anyway, it's like, come on.
I mean, yeah, this is an interesting question that I had from this episode. Is this a bad look for Divya? What exactly was Divya deciding here? Was she trying to combat the fact that she felt like she'd been in this close alliance with Big Dog and she was having to get rid of him? Or was it more she was trying to weigh up, if I keep Big Dog, he'll get voted off at 3 and I'm going to be safe, versus if I lose Big Dog now, I'm more likely to be voted off at 3.
I think it was probably a combination. I think she didn't want to throw me off because of the alliance, but I think it was also strategically, if we had an alliance, like I'm sure that came into her mind.
Her main issue was more of a strategic decision as a game player, because she was thinking, if I bring Big Dog to final 3, I will make it to the end because they will vote off Big Dog regardless. And if Big Dog wins, he'll take me to the end, so I'm at the end regardless. Or it's, if Big Dog goes, then maybe Soccer Holly will vote me out next, and then none of us win, so we're all screwed. But I think maybe it came across more of to the jury of her being like, "Oh, I don't want to vote off Big Dog because he's my friend and he's my ally."
Yeah,
Because they were probably sat there thinking, like, obviously, like we all want Big Dog to win, so this is a bad gameplay decision for you to keep him in the
yeah.
game.
That's 100% what I was thinking. I would have voted for you, Big Dog, if you were there at the end. So I was like, obviously vote
Well,
him on. Why why are you even considering keeping him on? That's crazy to me.
I want to shout out a couple of smart things I think Sock's done this episode. Like, first of all, he had immunity, so he clearly played the challenge the best. I think he didn't do it perfectly, but he did enough to get
Did
the
it
win
well.
there. Secondly, I
nobody
think
else.
because he knows that he's going to be in the final 3 now, because he's got the immunity, so he can kind of afford to be, try and diminish other players' games by being like, Divya, like, you're so stupid, why are you not voting off Big Dog? So he can play that card, and then also because Holly's the one that her fate kind of hangs in the balance. You can Holly was saying things to Divya just like, oh well, if you save me, then maybe I'll be more likely to keep you in the next round or something. Like, Sok doesn't have to make any of those promises to Divya. Whereas if he lets Holly say all of these things and then she doesn't go through with them, she's going to look much worse later. So I think, yeah, smart move for Sok for kind of allowing some of that to happen as well.
I really enjoyed Sock all episode, if I'm honest. Him just losing it at Divya slowly throughout the episode is really great to watch.
In his confessional, he said Divya's decided to start throwing the game. He also does the immortal George Russell T-pose Big Dog. Don't know if you clocked that, where he's 2 hands on the wall as he's giving his confessional. At one point, Holly says to Divya, and this is when she's trying to convince her for Divya to keep Holly in the game. Holly says that she would have a better chance against Sok, but would rather see Divya win. Is this probably didn't help her case?
If you're Holly and you're talking to Divya there, I think you'd be talking up your own game a bit. If Sock wins the next immunity challenge, then he'll take you, not me, because I've got that big play or whatever, that big idol play, something like that. That's probably what I'd go for.
But you don't want to take it too far though, because
No, no,
then you have to really back yourself to win.
no. I think if I'm Holly, I'm making out that I'm the second most likely to win. But then, yeah, then it does require you winning at final three.
If you're Holly, you don't need to go that far because you know that Sock's backing you anyway. Or maybe she was more nervous than that. So I guess Holly's gambling her game at that point because if Sock is your most trusted ally at that point, then you can never be back yourself too much. Yeah, all right. That does raise a good question though. All right, Big Dog. Let's say that you're Holly and you're going to Divya. How do you pitch to her to keep you in the game?
just remind. I'll probably just say that um that I that I play the best game. And keeping me in is just not a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably.
She was looking for Holly to say, if I win the next challenge, I'm taking you to the end, which I'm surprised Holly didn't say.
Yeah, just lie.
Yeah. I just don't know what the um what was it, the jury want from the winner at that point. Like it's made up of a lot of random people really. And it's each person wants different things. Like I'm sure Oscar would have expected honesty and loyalty. So he probably wouldn't have voted for Holly if Holly had lied and then carried on.
I don't know though, because when he
But
came on the podcast, he was saying how impressed he was at Holly doing all the lying. So I genuinely
well,
don't know.
maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, at one point, Divya says in a confessional that she's a small dog. What do we think of this? Do we think Divya pushing for a new nickname at the end of the season?
I don't think so. I don't know what to make of that.
Oh, okay. Here's one for you, Big Dog. Do you think it would have been possible for you to strong arm Sock into voting Holly? If you say, look, Divvy is backing me 100%, we're both voting for Holly, and if you don't vote for Holly, then it's going to be a tie, and me and Divya will vote you off at three if you don't vote for Holly. Is that something you could have used?
Uh, no, I don't think Sock was gonna turn on Holly at all, to be honest. And I didn't know how the if it was a tie, how it would work or anything. If I'd known how the game works, maybe could have made some arguments or something. I don't know. But also, I don't think I think Sock knew if it was me, Divya, in the final that we'd take each other through.
Yeah, I think Sock would rather just chance it than like chance Big Dog going out than having no chance of him going out anyway.
Anything from Tribal? Sock tells Divya to pull it together. If Big Dog stays, Big Dog wins. I'm not sure who said that, to be honest. Could have been any of them. Could have been you, Big Dog.
Don't think so.
You tell Divya that Sock and Holly will vote her out next. I think
Oh
probably
yeah,
the smartest thing you can say to Divya this round.
yeah. That's the only thing I can say. I don't think I believe that at all, but I'm gonna try and make her believe it.
Lenny, shall we eulogize Big Dog now?
Yeah, if we have to. Personally, I think he was the one of, if not the best player in the game in terms of actually doing stuff. Could basically control the whole game for a large portion of it. A pleasure to work with him on the Saturday. A pleasure to ruin his plans on the Sunday. Um,
Mm.
and I'm glad we've reached a point where we've been able to, or you've been able to forgive me for what happened on that Sunday, and that the our relationship managed to survive what was clearly some you know a real rough patch in our friendship that Sunday. Uh, if I'm glad I went out at final five because otherwise we might not be friends anymore. So I'm very happy you managed to make it to the final four. And yeah, just great to watch.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
I will jump in and say it's nice to see that the two of you are finally able to be cordial again with each other. For anyone watching, this is the reason why it's taken so long to get the episodes out, is because these two, this was
Long-standing beef.
this
Yeah.
is the only time I've been able to book them in for a podcast together. They were just like, it's going to take me at least a year and 8 months to calm down from this. But 9th of January, maybe we can do. So that was why the season's been planned out in this way, to finally get these two boys together. Um, yeah, I'll say for Big Dog, yeah, I agree with Lenny's points. Definitely the mastermind behind most of the moves on the season. As I said in the introduction, responsible for most players' eliminations. Really, I think you can find a seed in each round of Big Dog being one of the first to say a player's name, and then you can track it to Tribal Council where that player is indeed the one that gets voted off. Pretty strong in the tribal challenges, actually. I remember back to the disc jousting, that was a particular highlight there. And then I think going into the merge, again, it seemed like both coming into the game and coming into the merge, you're one of the few players to actually have a concrete plan and then actually execute it. So it seemed like you were one of the few players that had turned up to really play the game. And yeah, there are a lot of corpses you left on the ground around you. I think you played extremely well from the top, but when you're playing from the top, you kind of have to knock out a few of the lower players in your own alliance and keep the people opposing you. You want to keep some of them still in the game because if you get to the point where it's just your own alliance, everyone's just like, well, Big Dog's been running it for the whole time, so we'll take him out first. So I think maybe the sort of the rounds that you eliminate, like your Bens and your Oscars, you should probably be looking at the Lucys and the Socks and the Wills of your alliance and knocking them out. Or arguably the Lennys, actually, especially if you know that he's going to turn on you eventually. I think you probably knock out Lenny a lot earlier than you do, and then you're met with a lot less resistance towards the end. But I think either way, just the way that you were playing, whilst it was incredible for viewing, and it was very apparent that you were running the whole thing, it was unfortunately very apparent for everyone else, and unfortunately, he came up against one of the few players that actually had the ability to do something about it with
Mm.
Lenny. Despite that, you were able to finesse him by knocking out Lucy, which I think we've gone through a lot of scenarios, and in most of those scenarios, Lucy ends up winning the game. So I think he definitely took out the biggest threat there, uh, even if accidentally. And I'll ask you whether you agree with this, but I think Final Six was where the wheels came off losing Isaac. I think that was the start of the end of your game. But the final five win was incredible. But I think from that point, you were always going to be the biggest target every single round. So you ideally want that to only happen from kind of like final four onwards, where like maybe you've got a chance of winning each immunity. But when you're obviously the biggest threat from like top seven, it's very difficult to make it all the way to the end. So I think we'll see what happens in the finale, but when we talk about this in the review podcast at the end, I'm sure your name will come up for the player of the season. I think we're saying goodbye to one of the players of the season in this episode, unfortunately. But I think we should be very thankful that we're able to get you in almost every single episode, essentially controlling the game from start to finish. So, and I've only done this one other time, Big Dog, but I salute you on your play. Thank you very much.
Who else did you salute?
I saluted you in the last episode.
Oh, okay. I was worried that I'd missed out. But I was worried that it was going to be like Paris or something.
There's a couple of people that I should go back and salute. I want to salute Will Jeffrey for his pre-merge game as well. I thought that was just one of the most entertaining things. But yeah, Big Dog, why don't you weigh in on your game?
I took control of the entire game, really. I don't know how that happened. It just did. Um, and I just wanted to get through to like the final six or so because that was really my aim. And then I didn't have a plan for getting to the final, which really cost me in the end. But I was just happy to get as far as I did, really.
Where do you think the wheels came off, as it were? Do you think it was that
Oh
Isaac
no,
vote, or
no,
do you
it's
think it
definitely
happened
when Isaac
sooner?
went out. When Isaac goes out, if I stick with Isaac and Divya, and we get to final four together, then I think there's a good chance I get to the final two. I just didn't expect Divya to ever turn on the alliance, to be honest.
Okay, that was your blind spot then. So do you think, is there any regrets on working with Divya so deep into the game, or do you think that was necessary for you to get as far as you did?
Yeah, I regret ever meeting her, to be honest. Um,
The second you spoke before the game and she said, "Oh, I'm only close to Lucy," and that light bulb went off, that was the moment the game ended.
no, I think Divya's a great person to have an alliance with. I think she actually played a really good game. She knew when to turn, kept good relationships with everyone in the game, and voting Isaac off clearly. I mean, I think she had a better chance of getting to the final three if she kept with us. But having gotten to the final three now, she's in a much better position than she would have been with me and Isaac there. So I think overall she played pretty much as well as she could have done.
Now you've obviously had the chance to watch back almost every episode of the season, Big Dog.
Mhm.
Has your opinions of anyone's games changed from what you could obviously remember at the time? So I've got here specifically Divya, Sock, Lucy, and Holly. Do any of them go up or down in your estimations based on 19 episodes of gameplay
Um,
that you've now seen?
I would say stock. maybe slightly up. He was chaotic from the start, but then finally came up with a plan, which never really happened, but at least had a plan. Lucy played a lot better than I thought. I thought she, when I was playing with her, I thought she had no clue what she's doing. She actually did have a plan. Fair enough. She played better than I thought. Holly played as I thought, I think. She played well. She got in the right alliance. She um lied to people. She played well overall. Turned on people at the right time. Uh, Divya, uh, I don't think I think I was pretty close with her. Other than the um having an alliance with Sock and Lucy, I didn't think that they had pre-planned that. Surprised me. I didn't see why she would want to do that. I mean, me and her had a very good, strong alliance, and I would have taken it to final two. Switching to then, and we were in control of the game. It was looking like we would get to final three if she stuck with us. I don't know why she then wanted to switch to Lucy and Sock, where she would have been third um, in the rankings in that tribe, in that alliance. Um, and and Sock and Lucy seemed a lot more chaotic and less likely to get to the final three. I don't know that why she was planning on that, but at the same time, it kind of worked. She did make it to the final three, and she's in a bad position. So arguably, she played better the game than I did, to be honest. She seemed to know what she was doing better than me. Oh, the other person I need to mention is Strath.
Oh yeah.
Um, absolutely awful. I didn't realize this until watching it back. I think it looked from the outside like he knew what he was doing. Watching it back, clearly no clue at all. I think at one point, um, his only chance was to form alliance with Lenny and Sock at one point, and then and he's discussing whether he should vote out Lenny. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, if we could go back, I probably would at that one where it's Sock, Oscar, or Strath. I'd be like, yeah, let's take out Strath. Try that plan with Oscar, and I feel like maybe there's a better chance of it coming off.
Yeah, I think so.
Big Dog, how was your experience of playing the game with Lenny and, well, yeah, vice versa?
Privileged to work with him. Great tactical knowledge. Played the game so well. Um, but I felt like I was one upping him throughout most of the game, and I felt in control until he just managed to get to the final five, and then the fact he was there, his presence just annoyed me at that point.
I'd somewhat agree with that. It was fun to not immediately, but jam my way through and eventually ruin your plans. And I take great satisfaction in bringing someone down with me.
Yeah, thanks. No, because I
Um,
felt like in our alliance, I was in control of the alliance. Then I wrote out anyone who you could have made a counter alliance with. And then I messed up your plan with Holly to vote out me instead. And I felt like I was all over you. And then you just never went away. It
yeah,
was just, oh, it
I'm
was
just I'm one of
annoying.
those people.
Yeah, just a
Uh,
prick.
a real bastard finds a way, Chris. At the end of
Yeah.
the day,
I asked Isaac when he came on, and I asked Lenny last week, but I'll probably just ask him again this time because it'll save me having to edit that response in. So, obviously, the three of you form an alliance, episode one, and we now see you join them as the final member of the three of you going out back to back to back. How do you feel about the success of the alliance from episode one to now, and what do you think? Obviously, you'll probably say Lenny, but what do you think it was that really tore you apart?
It's heartbreaking, really, isn't it?
yeah.
It's because yeah, at that point, I really wanted one of those two to win, so it was sad to see.
Obviously, Lenny tore us apart. But then at the same time, I never really wanted Lenny in at the end game. So
Yeah,
I think just me and him in alliance towards the end was never going to happen.
yeah.
But I think it was pretty. I mean, obviously very successful. We made it to final four, five, and six. Um, just don't think. Yeah, I think Lenny is the reason for the downfall. Really, without him, I think would have been would have been fun.
A counterpoint. If my reputation wasn't, if you didn't believe in my reputation, if you if you put a bit more trust in me, maybe I wouldn't have turned.
I at no point did I not have like in any point did I try to vote you off or anything. I was very much waiting for you to do something.
Yeah, but we all knew. We I could feel it. I knew I was the fourth most important in that alliance. So I
That's
had to
your
do it.
fault. You,
That's not my fault.
we could have been, co-leaders of the alliance, but
We
you
could have
just
been, but
Yeah, but Big Dog, you've been saying that throughout you were making sure that you were closer with Divya and Isaac,
yeah,
that
that's
they would
true.
go with you rather than
Well,
Lenny.
because Lenny is a snake, though, isn't he?
but
And
if
he
you
proved
if
it.
we were like properly best friends, maybe it would have been harder for me.
What do you, what do you mean by that?
What's he
If you
saying that you're saying that you should have been that Big Dog should have been a better friend before the
no,
game?
no, like but I said friend, I mean ally. Like if you
Okay.
got me to a point where I'm like Divya, where I'm like I cannot physically write this man's name down through bit of
Oh,
bit of
okay, but at no point can I ever do that.
you just needed to butter me up a bit more. I think I wasn't
There's-
I wasn't sufficiently buttered, so I had to
okay,
I had to
if I
flip.
had buttered you up, would you have turned on me?
Who's to say? I mean, knowing myself personally, yes, I probably would have at some point because
Exactly.
I can't physically help myself. But I've probably never been sufficiently buttered to a point where I've had to think about it. So maybe that was your mistake.
No,
Either
I
way,
think that's
I'm not accepting the blame for me, you, and Isaac not winning the game.
well, no, because we would never go to the end together. I wouldn't have let that happen.
I mean, if we're going to blame anyone from this Ruber alliance for tearing you apart, all I'm going to say is, as we'll see at the start of the next episode from my edit, there's only one person that's voted everyone out, and that's Divya. Divya's written all three of your names down.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that was the problem all along.
I do think it probably was really. Um, I think there's a way where I could keep her on my side. Um, Lucy, if she hadn't come back in the challenge, I just want Lucy in the game. Um, but if we stuck together properly, Lenny hadn't. If I voted out Lenny and Lucy earlier, I think the game would have been a lot more in my control.
If your like biggest opponent is Strath, then I think you're in control to the end, I think.
if you get rid of me, Lucy, and Noel in like the first three
Yeah,
rounds,
And then
I
you
think.
need Will gone as well.
yeah,
Yeah, Will would have gone there at some point. Um, I mean, if Lucy and Will hadn't come back in Redemption or Strath, then it'd be a completely different game where I vote out Noel, and then at some point I vote out Lenny, and it'd be an easy game.
Big Dog, you are headed to the jury now as our penultimate jury member. What
Hmm.
were you looking for to vote to give a player the win? What were you looking
Just big plays, um, take actually manipulating the game properly and making it go the game they making it so they have to make their own safety and not just getting through on luck. Um, and and at this point, I'd say they've all done that really. Sock at the start completely luck to get through, I'd say. But once he gets down to the final seven-ish, I think he's then played a very good game, and he's probably played the best game since then. Holly played a good game. Holly, in the way she's manipulated people, stuck to alliance, and tried to vote people out, I think she's played a very good game. The way Divya's buttered everyone up and then simultaneously voted them out. Um, yeah, I think they've all played a very good game. So I'd be looking really just whoever convinces me their gameplay was the best and final there.
Okay. So, Big Dog, we always ask every Eliminator player who they think the next two people to follow them out of the game will be. We only now have one final elimination. So, at the time that you were voted off, Big Dog, who did you think would probably be the player following you out of the game?
I'd probably have to say Ollie, but
Okay.
I'd say it's pretty much equal, to be honest. I would have said Divya and Sock both have better chances of winning the final three challenge, I think. Um, Divya has a lot of, frisbee skills, athleticism. Doc is strong and stuff, and played some pretty good challenges. if it was a puzzle challenge, I think Holly would have won and then stayed in. So really, it could have been anyone who won the challenge, but I think both people would be happy to see Holly out. I think if Divya wins the challenge, I think she would vote out. No, she'd vote Slock or Holly, I don't know, but they Holly made the best game so far, so I think she'd probably be voted out. Don't know.
I think we're all good. One thing that I will try actually. Let me see if I can actually, and this might just not work, and then just whatever. But let me try and share the. I'll see if I can try and share like the voting confessionals.
Okay, I need a couple of chances. If I vote Holly, Holly will take me down next round, and Sokko will take me down next round. If I vote Chris, Big Dog, he's out, and then I'm against them, and then who's to say who they would vote for? I can vote myself, technically.
No, you can't.
Why not?
No, you can't.
What do you mean?
It's against the rules.
It's against the rules to vote yourself?
Yes.
No fucking way.
It is.
Is it?
It is.
Look, it might need a person to be out and
Yeah, if someone will be out, I just...
you can pick one.
I can't write his name. I can't fucking write his name.
It's up to you.
You know what? I'll tie it for now. I'm tired.
You have to pick anyway.
I'll tie it for now, and then he knows that what happens next. Had to be done. I could have left it up to this puzzle game, but let's be real, that's a 50-50, and I like my chances just knowing that Sock and Holly have my back next round, at least partially. I know there's just no way of saving him. Big Dog's out for sure, and I can't do anything. I just have to save myself now.
That would have been quite good, but basically, Big Dog, she was conflicted. That was the point.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that if you watch the episode, though, right?
But in the first clip, basically, she's essentially about to vote for herself, and then Faris and Zhao are just like, "No, you're not allowed to do that. Like, come on." So then she's like, "All right, I'm basically going to vote for Holly to kind of push the decision down the road." And then in the second one, she then basically says, "Oh, like I don't want to have to vote for him, but." I think she basically said otherwise it kind of like if I keep him in the game, then I have much less of a chance if I vote him out. But my point is, for Big Dog, Divya is essentially the best possible ally you could hope for, really. Like if you ever want to make a one-on-one whatever alliance with anyone in this game, I think someone that will take you to a tiebreaker in Final Four, that's pretty much as good as you can hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, would have been better if she then, kept very Holly again, but she was good for me. I overlooked that she was loyal to me, but not the alliance. I just thought by being loyal to me, she meant she was gonna stay with both me and Isaac, but clearly not. I think that's what really ruined my game.
But is that not an issue on Isaac's side for not, having those conversations with Divya to make her feel comfortable?
Oh, I've spoken as much as I can about how poor Isaac was at the game.
You're really dragging him to the end of the game.
Yeah, no, I think that's what Isaac lacked, was really doing stuff for himself. I felt like he didn't do as much as he could have, but at the same time, he didn't need to. The alliance was strong. He didn't really need to do anything else. By just sticking to what I was doing meant it worked. Maybe he could have worked having a better relationship with Divya. But I think what it came down to is Divya thought Isaac would win, probably, and therefore didn't want Isaac in the game. And I don't think there's much you can do about that.
I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're talking about your ideal ally, I think the best things that you can have is like one really tight. So let's say you, Isaac, and Divya, but then you want Isaac to sort of go off and Divya to do the same and to like make connections with other players and then bring that information back to you. So like it's great,
Mhm.
like the fact that Isaac voted with you all that way and would have stuck with you to probably final three, where maybe he votes you off if he wins. That's a great ally, but they're not like actively doing much to help you. At one point,
Yeah,
when Isaac was he was sort of stringing Sock along. Sock was under the impression that they had a bit of an alliance. If Isaac had kept that up, that would have been brilliant because then Sock is under the impression that he's working with Isaac, whereas actually Isaac's working with you. So then Sock's kind of not going against you, which he does end up doing.
that's why Holly was so good, really, because Holly managed to, when Lenny um wanted to turn on us, Holly uh stuck with me, gave me the information. Uh, I don't think Divya didn't give me any information, even when Strath went and told her everything. Um,
Yeah, that is true.
Holly probably played better than them. And I think if Isaac had stuck with Sock and like Divya had like strung Lucy along, something like that, but then in the end just stuck with the alliance, I think we would have made the final three quite easily, to be honest. If you all just strung people along and then turned on them.
Well, yeah,
Um,
exactly. Because like if Sock thinks he's really tight with Isaac, there's a good chance he just tells him about Lucy's idol. Or if Lucy thinks she's really in with Divya, maybe she tells her, and then that's great information for you guys.
mhm.
But then
But
there's always
also,
the risk that if they get too close, then they'll flip. So it's a tough one.
it is. But I think I did a little bit with Holly, where I strung her along in the alliance. She gave me information, and towards the end, if she hadn't, um, she could have been manipulated if Lenny was still in the game or something, and I think could have used our alliance to get me through the game. And I think if Sock and no, if Isaac and Divya had done something similar with Sock and Lucy, we would have been a way more powerful alliance and could have won the game really.
It sounds like Noel doesn't even need to do anything. You guys just get so in your heads about him.
You watch him play. He gets my head when I'm just watching it. He's
He's
he's he's brilliant.
It's not even that he manipulates me. It's just he manipulates every other fucking person there, and he's such like honestly the stress of getting that man out of the game.
Yeah.
Even when it's like it was clear he was going to go out, you just thought oh, he's just going to fucking jam his way through. Absolute bastard.
Yeah, because I've obviously never played with him. I've seen him play each time, but like it seems like he's very good. But it never like I don't have the sort of bad memories associated with playing with him. Like
Yeah,
I don't get psyched out because I've never experienced
like
that.
I don't think it will work on anyone like that competent.
Yeah.
But there's just so much chaff in skunks that it's just so easy for someone with a little bit of charisma can just it's all it takes.
Oh, just the
But
smallest amount. And
he's
hey, you only need to turn it on for 7 minutes, and then you just turn it back off again.
Yeah. Yeah, CS Robbo, MG
yeah.
Robbo, all of them. I try. Imagine the Robertson family tribe. That'd be brilliant.
I'd like to see you on one of the tribes. I'd like to see how you play it. But also at the same time, you're by far the best at hosting.
I'd love to play, but I don't know who we get to host. Maybe that's like season 6. Maybe we'll get Lenny to host by then. As his finishing place just gets worse and worse.
Look, if you were that desperate, I could do it, but it wouldn't be as good because I wouldn't be able to think of questions like you do. I don't think.
Mhm.
Like I think I could organise challenges fine, but I don't have the showmanship that you have, I think.
Yeah, I think I've obviously just watched enough that I sort of know the kinds of questions to ask. I think that's probably the difference.
Yeah.
I do think you're a very good host, though, in fairness.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's even if I were to, I'd just feel in your shadow the whole time.
Oh, what
yeah.
you think that in the strategy session people are just like, do you know what? Mike should be hosting. Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah,
Lenny,
yeah,
what's
exactly.
Honestly, I think I'd be thinking that.
And when people start dropping that in confessionals, it's
Yeah, it's not
It's
as good
going to
as
be a
last year.
rough rewatch for me.
Because I'm sure I'd still be editing it, so I'd include every single one.
Yeah, I'd much rather just go out in round two, to be honest, and then film for a day and a half.
Maybe that'll be the twist, actually. If Lenny gets knocked out earlier, I'll just take his place in the game. Any other thoughts on anything at all that you've watched back, Big Dog?
Who was your favourite podcast guest?
Your sister, maybe?
Me. I'll tell her that on Saturday when I see her.
That was a very stacked episode, though. Lizzie Greenfield and Sorensen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably one of my favorite episodes.
I think that was my best contribution to the show at any point, suggesting that.
What, what a pair of guests just to introduce to each other as well.
Because I know my sister definitely wanted to meet Sorensen. So, oh, I saw him. I saw him at Res.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
How did his team do?
he wasn't playing. I saw him playing in one of the pickup games. He wasn't playing for a team. He was just sort of. Obviously Dan Sorensen was there, in headband, which clearly inspired by yourself, Mike.
That needs to be your next podcast guest task, Lenny. We want I don't care about any more of the players for the finale. I know we claimed we were going to get the win and whatever, but no, I want Dan Sorensen on the next podcast.
Never seen any of it. Doesn't even know who any of them are. Just us asking him about his headband for an hour and a half.
Okay. Episode title. It was actually it was a two-horse race because Divya, obviously, with the incredible "I'm a small dog" quote, it did win out. But Sock had a great one as well. I haven't got it verbatim in my notes, but it was something along the lines of "That's the price of fame." It's said about Big Dog, but it was that close. Okay, let's go through fan corner. Shout out to all the fans who have been very quick off the mark this week. The episode hasn't been out for that long, so shout out to everyone for writing in, and even bigger shout out to maybe the truest fan of all who's been collating all of this feedback for us. Okay, gorgeous, stunning, amazing episode title, no notes. So yeah, well, Divvy again, well done. Big Dog ending his confessional with a little "thank you" is brilliant. So well done, Big Dog, for that one. There are a lot of those. I've noticed towards the end of the game. I don't know who started filming you, Big Dog, but whoever it was, I think it's Max or Oscar. They just left the camera. They started filming way earlier and started ending way later than any normal person would.
The millennial pause.
Mm. So there's a lot of shots of you just walking away and then just doing really menial tasks. Oh, Lenny, someone else picked up on the "too much sway on the whole bunch of us" that Divya said at the start of the episode when voting for you. With respect, every accusation is a confessional. Is a confession. You are running the table now, I reckon. There you go. Well, Divya has become everything she hates, maybe. Oh yeah, this hasn't been addressed yet. The voiceover cameo is comically bad from Big Dog. We discussed that. That's one thing you missed from the last podcast, Big Dog. We discussed how I'd said that I got you to send me in a previously on, and I got Lenny to send me in a next time on, and I said that both of them were shit and did not fit the vibe of the episode. And it's good to have that validated.
but you didn't tell me what episode it is for.
Yeah, to be fair, if you said it was going in the episode, I mean,
Where did you think it was going?
I just thought it's your own personal enjoyment, to be fair, a little bit. I thought maybe in the episode, but I thought only if I did a good job. But no, clearly you were whatever shit we came back with. I could have whispered it and you would have put it in the fucking episode without saying.
Lenny, you've seen some of the confessionals you've given this season. Clearly, whatever shit you're going to say, I'll put in.
I give great confessionals on occasion. Average most of the time, but
Yeah, you've not been too bad, to be honest. I think it's very hard to give a bad confessional, to be fair. Yeah.
well, I see it done on Regular Survivor quite often.
Oh yeah, and we've got a whole draft for part of our draft is number of shit confessionals, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, and to Big Dog's credit, he was ill when he recorded his one for me, so we can't be too hard on the man. But Lenny could have tried harder. Okay, a lot of people up in arms about the cube challenge. They thought that it was too hard. which is obviously why I made it easier. So let's get there.
Grow up.
Yeah, grow up.
The fans. It's not that hard. What's the problem?
Someone said that Big Dog clearly doesn't fancy his chances at that tree puzzle a second time.
I don't know. I think I would have been okay with the tree puzzle, but it's definitely not the one to go for. It's the last one to do. Climbing a tree is easy. Finding the side puzzle, or finding a missing card. I probably would have gone for the missing card one. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the tree puzzle is sort of a 10-minute job if you've never seen it before. Otherwise, like Big Dog's obviously done it once already. Okay. Oh, someone's pointed out how the sock cam really failed to hone in on sock for a while there. Yeah, poor Veronica. Shout out again to Veronica for a sterling job all season. Another comment again, Lenny, on the state of the kitchen.
Oh, it did look bad. I thought that this episode. I was like, oh, it's not a best. It's not great.
Not
The
helped by the fact
fucking
that everyone had pizza the night before and they were all still out there.
yeah, and the drying rack was beyond comically full.
Didn't I swear on this day, Max Berline like just made a load of pasta in our kitchen and just like had it for lunch.
Yeah, I'm very willing to blame it all on Max doing something stupid on the Sunday, and that's why it looked worse at this point.
Okay, people are saying that I was being an asshole in the challenge, which is fair. Yeah, I thought if Big Dog and Divvy are just going to sit here in front of me the whole time, I'm just going to have to essentially just troll them for their poor decisions of not going to do any of the clues. Okay, Holly, I would have advised to go dirtier and just throw the cards up in the air, schools out for the summer style, and let the next person cry about it. Well, actually, it would have really backfired on Holly had she chosen to actually correct her mistake. Okay, someone's asked how long it actually took. Big Dog, do you recall how long the challenge took? We thought 15 to 20 minutes, maybe.
probably better. I don't remember.
That man lost his mind, Mike. He probably has no idea what
The
happened.
Big Dog's like 6 hours.
Yeah, it felt like a whole year.
Yeah, when you think back on the game, Big Dog, what percentage of the game that you remember is just you looking at those cubes?
Most of it. Most of it. I generally don't remember much of the game, but the cubes, they're definitely haunted me. Lenny and the cubes are my biggest nightmare in that game.
Oh, okay. Here's one for you, Big Dog. If you win the Final Four challenge, who are you voting off in this episode?
Probably Sock because Holly and Divya both have similar skill set in terms of final challenge, I'd say. Um, whereas me and Sock would be competing with each other.
Big Dog, you've been called out for not trying to convince Holly to vote for Divya, but I feel like at that point she'll just tell Divya, and then you risk losing her, and she's the one person that's going to stick with you.
Yeah, I just don't see Holly why she would vote for Divya. And I still need to get somebody else to vote for Divya as well. Sock wouldn't have.
Poor Sock is so frustrated. Hang in there, bro. Oh, this is fucking tense. Like, I feel like I know what's going down, but everyone is so stressed it's wearing off on me. Yeah, what do we think of Divya just prolonging this? And admittedly, it's me as well. I should have just said it's time to vote, but it felt like Divya needed to figure things out. And at that point, I was thinking if Divya ties it, it's going to be way more exciting. So I was happy to let her come to that conclusion.
I didn't enjoy it. I started playing darts.
Did you?
Yeah. No, when I was watching it back.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Not at the time. That
I was
would have
like
been
that.
quite
That would have
rude.
been that would have been audible at tribal council.
No, I think I only got there for the first vote, maybe. So I
where
feel like
did
I
you
missed.
go out to?
I went to Sainsbury's.
Did you get inches? Because I see in the teaser for next time I've got kind of inches in my hand.
I don't know. Maybe I got gifts for the crew.
Oh,
Liam Lou brought drinks a couple of rounds before, so there might have been some left over from
There's
that.
probably inches in the house, to be fair.
That's true.
yeah.
I'm
Or
sure
just
Max
bought them the
Berline
day
had them
before.
kicking around in order to, convince people to vote with him. The criminally underutilized Amy strategy from season one of just bribing people with food. Yeah, people devastated to see Big Dog leave, accusing Divya of stringing it out unnecessarily if you're going to vote off Big Dog anyway, unless it's to buy favour when Big Dog is on the jury. And then people appreciative of seeing a final edit for Big Dog.
It was cute. It was lovely.
Do you think that nicely summed up your game, Big Dog? Or is there anything you would have liked to have seen in there as part of the highlights?
Uh, I don't know. What
Or
was missing?
should it have just been the frisbee shot over and over again?
If the music was "See You Again," I think that was the only thing that could have topped it.
Oh,
Really.
Yeah. No, I think it summed up the game pretty well. If there's any clips of me looking at Lenny with any kind of look of endearment or anger, I think that would have summed up the final.
yeah, I'll say the music for that one, for any Survivor fans out there, that's one of the Tribal Council pieces of music that I haven't used before, and I've been looking for an excuse for a long time, and I was just like, I've got to save it for Big Dog. So yeah, that was a good opportunity to use that one. That's one of the best pieces of tribal music I've heard in my time. And then the final comment: not Lenny deep throating the Twister jump scare.
Yeah, thanks for that,
Yeah.
Mike. Cheers.
Can you explain that? Where was that and why?
I can't explain it. I don't remember that happening, but obviously it's the kind of thing where Mike's told me to do it, and I've gone, yeah, yeah, why not?
What I can imagine only would have happened is that you were doing it anyway, and I thought, let me come and film this.
No, I don't willingly deep throat twist it, so I want to make that abundantly clear for the viewers out there. This was I must have been coerced into such a thing.
Yeah, you must. I mean, it was on the Isle of Wight. I don't know if we're actually at the Isle of Wight yet, but it was on that social.
Okay.
Finn
Maybe
Wang
Breeze
is in the
Berry.
background. It comes up again with Finn Wang in. Finn Wang is getting a lot of joy out of you doing it. I imagine either I oddsed on you to do it, or I was just like, "Yeah, go on," you wouldn't, and then you just do it anyway.
I mean, at that point in the day, I was probably drunk enough. You could have convinced me to do almost anything.
That's
So
true. That's something that I haven't factored in. That simply brings us to our teaser for the finale. Lenny, do you want to tease us up for the final episode of the season?
yeah, well, it's the finale. You get to find out who wins. I mean, if you're not tuning into this podcast, but you're not thinking about watching the finale, then who the fuck are you? What are you doing? Obviously, you're gonna watch it.
Yeah, if you've watched it this far, don't give up now just because you've seen Lenny and Big Dog be voted off. Just because your rooting interests are gone, there's still three players here. One of them's going to win. We get to see who actually takes it home.
But shout out to anyone who's decided not to watch the finale in solidarity with the two of us. I've got a lot of respect for you.
You skip the finale, but then join us on the podcast next week, and then you get more of Lenny again. Thank you very much, Big Dog, for being so thorough about discussing your game. Both waving already. And yeah, what an absolute pleasure it was to have you on the season. So, all right, well,
Thank you.
Bye, big dog.
look
See
forward
you
to seeing
later.
you on the journey,
Bye.
on the jury